afternoon, my crochet friends. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Rachel from Desert Blossom Crafts. Today I'm pretty excited because I just got a package from We Crochet. This is a big yarn order and it's all the same exact yarn. So I want to unbox it with you today, show you what it is, and also give you some tips for working with it. You may have seen in the cover photo it is a fur yarn, which can be a little tricky to crochet with. I've just started getting it out and trying it myself, so I want to share all my tips and show you this amazing yarn. So this is the box. It's pretty big. I'm just going to open it. Here we go. So I ordered Fable Fur Yarn from We Crochet, and I ordered a lot of it. So here it is, kind of up close in the package. I think I ordered over 20 skeins. I have 4 packages in here with 5 each in it. Now you're probably wondering what I need all this fur yarn for. I am going to be making a sweater for my boyfriend for Christmas. I'll put a picture here. This is a pattern not designed by me, it's designed by Heart Hook Home. I'm super excited about the pattern, so I highly recommend you check it out. I'll put the link to that in the description. But now that I've unboxed this and kind of shown it to you, let's take a look at it up close. Okay, so I wanted to take the camera off me and just show you this yarn super close up. Like I mentioned, this is Fable Fur from WeCrochet.com. It is a super bulky weight fur yarn. Oh my goodness, you guys, it is so soft. I don't know if you've worked with fur yarn before or not, but this is my first time actually trying it, and specifically trying this one. It's so soft. I don't know if I've ever felt a yarn this soft. So it's made from 100% polyester. The only thing I don't like about it is that it is hand wash and dry flat, but there's nothing you can really do about that. And I've already bought all these balls, so my boyfriend is just gonna have to be careful with his sweater. I do love this color. Let's see, what is it called? This is the name of the color. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that. But as you can see, it's kind of like 2 colors. In each strand, there's like an off-white color and also like a black color. And it's kind of like the tips are the lighter color, and then the back of the yarn is the black. So I think this is just going to make a really nice sweater for men. That's what I love about this yarn. It kind of just automatically gives a sweater or whatever you're making, it gives it a nice masculine look, as long as you buy a good color, of course. There's lots of other colors on the website. There's pinks and blues and other neutrals and stuff too. And once again, the links for this yarn, the sweater pattern, I'll also put a link to the shawl I was wearing a minute ago in the description. All of that will be down there for you to check out if you're interested. And now, as promised, let's get into some tips on actually crocheting with fur yarn. So you can see I've started a little swatch here. I just wanted to start out by making a swatch because I did not know how it was going to be working with fur yarn. I knew it would be tricky, but I'm glad I'm starting with a swatch and not starting with a project. So I guess that would be my first tip, is just try getting used to the yarn before trying to do any sort of project with it. Now, one other thing before I actually crochet with this, I don't know if this will be the case on all the balls, but for this ball, when I tried to find the end, I had to pull it out of the center to get the end, not the center pull, but the end that goes around. And quite a bit of yarn came out when I did that. Like, it wasn't just where it came out really easily. I did have to pull out kind of a good chunk. So just be careful of that, I guess I'd say, and be aware that you may have to do a little tugging to actually get the end out and start using it. Alright, so this is my swatch, and you probably have no idea what stitch it is made in. That's kind of the point of fur yarn, so that's okay. I am using half double crochet. One thing you definitely want to do with fur yarn is not do anything complicated. Just stick to simple stitches, single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, chains of course. I do think that single crochet would be the easiest, and I'll expand more on that soon. The pattern that I'm using is going to be half double crochet, so I want to get really used to that and good at it, but I do think single crochet will be easiest. So let me just start crocheting with this and kind of show you how it works. So I'm going to chain 1. You can see the chain is there because it's kind of up and the rest of the yarn is not. Then as we turn, if you look at this, you probably could kind of count the stitches, get a guess of how many stitches there are, but not really. So there are 10 stitches here. The way you crochet with fur yarn is by feel. Your goal is not to see the stitches. If you can, that's great, but most often than not, you're not going to be able to see it. So what you want to do is feel for the first stitch. So this is, if I show you, you probably will be able to see. Here's the top of the stitch right here. This is the V of the stitch. And I've been able to stick my finger through it. That is my first stitch. This right here is the chain. This is the first stitch. So it is possible to kind of see it, but feeling it can kind of help first. So I'm going to make my half double crochet, inserting my hook, pulling up, and just bringing through like normal. And this is going to be the top of my next stitch. So this is the stitch I just worked into. Now I'm just going to move my fingers over and find the next stitch, which is going to be right here. All right, and there's kind of the top of it. And here's where I'm going to insert. All right, so there's 2 stitches done. Now here's the tip I have for you as far as feeling the yarn. A lot of people just say feel the stitches, but if you don't know what you're feeling for, it can be a little tricky. You just want to feel for the next V's on top of the stitches. And once you find that stitch, what I recommend doing is keeping your finger in it. So here I've stuck my middle finger through and I have my thumb, so I've kind of my thumb and middle finger pointed right here. And I'm going to insert my hook and I'm going to keep my fingers there while I make the stitch. So I'm just keeping my middle finger there. Now I won't lose the stitch that I just worked into, and I can hold that with my other hand while I feel for the next stitch right here. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. I know if you're just kind of finding the stitch, putting it in, and then trying to find the next one, it could be like, wait, where did I just work? That happened to me at first. So that's one thing that has helped me. Let me show you that one more time. So I'm pinching the stitch I'm working into, making my stitch, switching hands, so holding that one here, and then feeling for the next V. So here's the next V while I'm still holding that, and then you can see, oh yeah, that's the next stitch. It's not like there's another stitch in between those two. Now this is where I said single crochet would be a little easier, and the reason is because half double crochet and double crochet are taller, it can be a little more difficult to keep your finger in there. So let me show you that on the next stitch. So if I just did a single crochet, it's a lot easier because I'm just pulling through and my fingers are just right there. But when I was making the half double crochet, I was having a bit of trouble keeping my fingers there because my natural tendency is to actually move my fingers up while I do this to keep the tension good. So that's why I say single crochet would be easiest, because I kind of have to stick my finger more through and kind of be more careful not to lose that loop like I just did. But whatever stitch you do, it will get easier as you keep on doing it, obviously. So those are kind of my best tips for the nitty-gritty of it. Another thing that is really helpful is you want to count the stitches as you go. So like I was not counting as I did this, and it's a little tricky to go back and count the stitches. Like you can try to do it 2, 3, 4, 5, I think I have 6 stitches there, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I misspoke at the beginning of this video. There are 11 stitches in this swatch, not 10. So I think I have 6 here and 5 here, but it is tricky. So I do recommend counting in your head as you go. That will make sure that you don't have to count at the end of every single row. Just one last tip before we finish off. One thing some people recommend is you can actually work holding your fur yarn and holding a regular yarn at the same time, and that can make it a lot easier to see your stitches. That will really depend on your preference if you like the look of that. I personally really like the fur look all by itself, and that's why I got this yarn. So I'm going to stick to trying to make my whole sweater like this. But that's another thing that if you're just really struggling, you can also do that. So there you have it. This is my first experience with fur yarn. I'm already obviously getting a bunch of tips on for myself how to use it, and hopefully those tips are helpful to you too. from beginner to beginner, right? Because we're both beginners here. And if it's your first time working with fur yarn, if I can do it, you can do it. So I hope you take those tips, and I hope they are helpful to you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, or let me know if you've tried fur yarn before and what you think of it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up and come subscribe for lots more crochet patterns and reviews like this. See you in my next video. Bye!